What's up, everybody? It's your boy Curly Tlapoyawa, the hardcore archaeologist, and once again, it's time for Café con Nawatl. So I've got my café right here, and today I'm using one of my wife's coffee mugs. So thank you very much, babe. And in fact, I endorse this message. But today, I want to talk about one of my favorite words in the Nahuatl language, and that is Jicara. So I've got my own Jicaras right here, a couple of different sizes. I picked these up in Oaxaca. But before we get into those, I want to touch briefly on some pronunciation, in particular the pronunciation of the letter X. This is a sound that tends to get mispronounced a lot, particularly by Spanish speakers, because in the Spanish language, there isn't really a sound that approximates the correct sound of the letter X, and that is SH, as in shoe. So you'll get words like xochitl, or xoloitzcuintle, or xochimilco. And a prime example of the mispronunciation of the X is the word Mexico, which should be pronounced Mexico. So if you live in the state of New Mexico, you should know our state has a Nahuatl name. It's not Spanish. Now, there's a tendency to mispronounce this. So you'll see a lot of people mispronounce Xochitl. I've heard Xochitl, and I've also heard Xochitl, which please don't do that. And then another way of mispronouncing it is to make it like an H sound, as in Mexico. And this is where we'll get the word jicara from, because the original way, the correct way of saying jicara, is xicale or xicali, depending on your accent, which part of Mexico that you happen to come from. Now, if we break down the word xicale, it has two parts. The beginning part, xi, means skin or husk or shell. Basically, the outer covering of something is the xi. Cale or cali means house or dwelling. And so when we put those two together, we get xicale, which gives us a shell dwelling or a shell house, which makes perfect sense, right? Because the way you get a jicara is you get a calabaza, dry it out, and you cut it in half, and you've got yourself a little cup or a bowl. In fact, here in New Mexico, we have some mountains called the Jicaras or the Jicaritas, and that is because the mountaintops, the peaks, are shaped like bowls, so they'll collect the snow and the runoff. So that's where they got the name from. We also have mountains, ranges in southern New Mexico called the Jicaria for the same reason. They are bowl or basket shaped. Now, these jicaras in particular, I really like because you'll notice they have these little rabbits etched into them along with maguey plants. And the reason for this is because they tend to be used, these in particular, to drink pulque from. Pulque or mezcal or tequila, but these in particular were for drinking pulque. When I was in Oaxaca working on my documentary, we would visit families, and invariably they would have homemade pulque, and they would bust out their jicaras and serve us pulque right then and there, and it was delicious. So, why is there a rabbit and a maguey plant on these jicaras? Well, that's because of this story of Mayawel. Mayawel is the teotl, or the patron of the maguey plant, and by extension, alcoholic beverages, because alcoholic beverages in Mesoamerica come from the maguey plant. If you've ever had pulque or mezcal or tequila, you are partaking of the maguey plant. You are partaking of Mayawel. And the story is Mayawel had 400 children, 400 little rabbit children, called the Tzentzon Totochtin, which just means 400 rabbits. And these rabbits represented different stages or states of inebriation. And that's because when she had these little babies, she would suckle them from her breasts. So these little rabbits would consume the nectar of the maguey plant, the nectar of their mother, and they would get wasted. And so you had all these little drunk rabbits running around partying. So to this day, sometimes you'll see bottles of tequila or bottles of mezcal. They'll have rabbit symbols on them. Some of them will even be called, 400 rabbit mezcal, which is very cool because this aspect of the traditional culture of associating the maguey and the rabbit with inebriation has survived to this very day. So there you have it. These are my jicaras right here. They've got the little rabbits carved onto them. They've got the maguey plants carved onto them. So now you'll know. Next time you see a bottle of mezcal or tequila with a little rabbit or a maguey on it, you'll know the reason behind that. And that's because of the little Senson Totochtin, the little party hardy rabbits that were living it up and getting wasted off their mama's nectar. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll see you next time. This has been Café con Nawatl. Tlasokamati Welmiak.